Buenos días. ¿Cómo estás? Tengo que estar sentado aquí. Entonces me siento. I'm going to speak in English because mi español no es muy bueno. Entonces me faltan palabras. I prefer to speak in English if it's fine for you. Okay? Are you happy? What do you do in your life? Does anyone want to tell me what does she or he do? You work, me too. 14 hours a day. No one? Just to be more useful for you. Otherwise, I will start speaking and then you will ask me. I'm starting from this because I've been studying a lot since 1999, few disciplines. Actually, I interrupted my studies in 1991 and I went living in San Francisco. I was 22. And then when I came back, I didn't start studying again. But from 1999 until these days, I've been studying few disciplines that I really love, that are philosophy, art, neuroscience, and few different sciences, basically also the quantum physics and economy. And with the bank, we are investing around 1.5 million euros in researches. So my first idea that I wanted to share with you, and I want to share with you ideas. I don't know in which industry you work, but let me tell you that whatever you know about your industry, your job, your work, your company, is not enough. It's not going to be enough anymore. It's not enough already now. I remember when my father-in-law told me these stories. He was born in a little town in northeast Italy, and I'm talking about less than 100 years ago. And the priest of the little village used to say that bicycle, when we started using bicycle, the bicycle was the tool of the evil. You know why? Because from that day, people could move a bit longer could cover a distance a bit longer than the distance that we could cover just walking. 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers, by bicycle you could go like 40, 50 kilometers away from your town. We are facing the third most important change of epoch in I mean humanity history. The first one was when we realized that we could use the fire to live a better life. The female of our species used to go on the volcanoes with a little piece of wood and getting the fire back to the cavern and realizing that they could live protecting themselves by the cold, by the beasts, and living together, eating a better food, conserving the food. That was the day that the communities were born. We talk about communities today, okay? Then we find out in nature that there was a strange and amazing shape, a round shape, that we named wheel. And we put 4 wheels under a piece of wood and we start running away from the caverns. And that was the time that philosophy, art, trading, science were burning. Biggest communities. That was the second jump, a huge jump. Now you're living in the third huge change of epoch. Just a button and you can get in touch with all the planet. And then the scientists, basically the neuroscientists, are trying to find a solution because they realize that our brains are not ready to face this new situation. The way we work biologically is not ready for this quantity of opportunities. The way we work, our beliefs, are stopping us from considering ourselves a huge, incredible, unbelievable community full of opportunities. So you must be aware that you're living in the third most important change of epoch of the humanity, of the entire humanity. So I don't know what you do in your life, which are your roles, which role you play in your life. I'm a manager, I'm a father of 5 children, 5 children with the same wife, which is a record, at least in Italy, and we're still in love, which is a record, at least in Italy. And Again, I'm a manager, I'm a speaker, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a divulgator, I'm a citizen of the planet. I don't know how do you consider yourself, but it's not time anymore to consider yourself a manager, a part of being someone else. It's the time for responsibility today. This big change of epoch is asking the people to be much more responsible than yesterday. We can't delegate anymore to the priest of the village the decision to manage the collectivity. If you are sitting in this room, you are a lucky human being. Maybe thanks to your efforts, to your sacrifices, but you're a lucky one. And for the lucky ones, it's time to take responsibility today. And by responsibility, I like to work and to study the word. Responsibility is very interesting. Responsibility, the ability to give response. To give response to who? To the change of epoch. Response to life. Response to a collectivity. I've been traveling a lot from the Silicon Valley, where there are these strange people trying to go on Mars, on the moon, trying to invent exponential technologies. I don't know if you ever heard about the Singularity University. Have you ever heard? It's a very unusual place where top brains of the world, they meet sometimes. It's based in the research camp of the NASA, and they talk about the future. I had the chance to spend some time with them, and let me tell you, we are very far away from where we think we are. Okay? We are planning to go on Mars. On the other side, things are not working. Capitalism is over. It's not over capitalism itself. Capitalism, I work for a bank. It's necessary for our community, for our economy, but the way we use capitalism didn't work. I mean, it's enough. I went also around the city. I don't know if you live in Mexico City or not, but you don't need me to tell you that there is a lot to do, okay? That we left behind too many people. And so talking about economy 0.0, I went around the topic for a while. The basic idea is to go back to what is essential. Today is necessary to go back to what is essential. Economy 0.0, we are in a world where everybody wants to be 2.0 of something, 3.0 of something, 4.0 of something. We are talking about in Italy, I don't know if it's the same in Mexico, about Industry 4.0. Are you doing the same here? But what's the Industry 3.0 and 2.0? Which kind of manager you are? If you are 1.0 of something, you are what? Nothing. My provocation, 0.0, is to go back to what is essential. And the only thing that is essential for our community, for our collectivity at the moment, is human beings. The next big revolution would be the revolution of consciousness. Would be the revolution of people who are occupying the best place on the planet, and I believe you are one of those, just because you're sitting in this room. It's time for you guys to take responsibility on the collectivity, to give responses. I'm also a marketing manager, and for centuries marketing kept selling stuff to people that they didn't need at all. You create psychological needs in order to let the people buy what you sell, correct? If we look at our houses, it's full of stuff that we don't use, but when we bought that stuff, we're feeling that we really needed it. So this time is over. It's time for a new economy. It's time for an economy that is not the purpose anymore, but is the instrument. And the human being has to go back to be the purpose and not the instrument of economy anymore. It's time for a right economy. It's time for a right profit. A right profit is the right to make profit, because we can't live anymore in a world divided into profit and no profit, where these are the bad ones and these are the good ones, but these are poor and these are the rich ones. So they make a margin, they give some money to the no profit ones to take care of the problems that we created. Think about Volkswagen. It doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore. It's time for the right profit. If you go on the dictionary, on the vocabulary, and if you look at the word right, you will find interesting translation or synonymous. Correct, proper, good, sane. It's time for this kind of product. And it's time for products, and then I will stop and we'll start with the questions. It's time for very specific right products. The time is over for companies that just want to make profit for themselves. That's a very old time. We are all interconnected. It's not a philosophical thought. The quantum physics just discovered that any singular piece of every singular atoms is still keeping a memory of the origin, and by origin means the Big Bang. Anything you can see, anything you can touch, even human bodies, we all have a memory of the origin. We are all interconnected. I'm talking about science. I'm not talking about philosophy or religion or spiritual stuff. So if we are all interconnected, we must take care of each other. That's the only way to make a difference in your life. So the question is how to do that just working 14 hours per day. So to give you this last topic, what the right product is, what the right service is, something that allows the company offering the market is product and service, the opportunity to make a profit. But then, what about the customers? The customers has to be satisfied by this relationship. It doesn't have just to buy something. It has to be satisfied. And then it's not enough anymore. There must be a third necessity to reach, which is the necessity at the same time for the offer and the demand for the collectivity. I want to leave you with this example. Think about a bottle of water. In ancient times, until yesterday, we used to sell the best water at the highest price because we are the source of the water, so we didn't care about the market. Now we are in an open market. There are few competitors, so we need to tell the market that we take care of the customers because the customer is central. So a better price for a good product. But if the water will be kept too long in a plastic bottle without taking care of collectivity, this transaction won't produce any advantage for the collectivity. In the Pacific Ocean at the moment, there is an island made of plastic as big as the Central Europe, 3 meters deep, that is not going to disappear. So the solution is, for example, in this case, which is the third advantage, which is the third necessity to solve offering our products. Tomorrow the future will be just for good people. The 80s are over, the 90s are over. The future, the winners tomorrow will be only good people, because the common people is tired of bad people. Bad politicians, bad managers, bad companies, bad behaviors. So the good ones will win. I name them new heroes. Common people, normal people, living their private lives driven by huge values and huge ideals. I'm trying to do that, work in a bank, extremely hard. Time for question.
I want to know, how do you share this concept of responsibility with your family and with your colleagues in your daily routine? Because you have to start by yourself,
Absolutely.
And then to share with the world. How do you do it?
Okay, first of all, you said already, you have to start from yourself. There is no way to tell people anything if you are not working on yourself. I don't believe there is a perfect 0.0 model of company, of people. The 0.0 is an ideal, it's aspirational, but something that you have to live for every single moment of your day. You are a journalist. You can't allow yourself to write something wrong on just one article, on just one line of article, because there will be someone reading your article, believing in what you will have written. So you don't have the chance to take a break from your life, just to write something because that's your job. Sorry if I take your example, okay? So you must be an example of someone who aspires to be something more than what you were at the beginning of your life. I found a sentence yesterday. Let's see if I can remember. It was from a French guy. We are not human beings living a spiritual life. We are spiritual beings living a human life. Try to be a spiritual, choose your meaning by spiritual, journalist. Mother Teresa used to say, every time you meet someone, when you leave him, try to create a condition to leave him better than before he met you. Try to write an article in order to let the people reading your article better than before reading it. So just be an example. As a father, try to be an example with your colleagues. I run a group of 230 people. I'm not a model necessarily, but I want to share with them my desire to be better.
Which is the right way of making profit?
Practically, it's really up to you. I mean, I don't know in which industry you work. I have nothing to teach about how to make it, okay? By make, I mean daily work. But again, go back to the purpose. I can suggest you to stay with the question, why do I want to make profit? I mean, which is the reason of your life? To work? Do you really think that you were born to work 14 hours a day like I do? Or 16? That's a lot. There is no reason why we should just work. There must be an aim. There must be a reason why. Your companies needs to have a vision and a mission that is not making profit. The profit will be the natural result of extremely well done actions. It will come naturally. Let me offer you this point of view. First, go back home tonight. If you made a profit, if you made a margin, just look at yourself in the mirror and say, how did I make it? The profit that I made was good, correct, proper, and sane. You can answer it by yourself. You don't need the economist to tell you if you did well or not. A mirror is enough. Did you margin too much? Maybe your sales manager will tell you, hey, you're a good salesman. But if you margin too much, you will get it back from somewhere else. Because what goes around comes around. Second, the best feedback you can have from the crowd when you offer something to the demand, you know which is? Gratitude. If you go in the dictionary, you will see, at least in Italian, the meaning is memory of a benefit received and promptness to prove it. Memory is brand awareness in marketing. And promptness to prove it is word of mouth. In a world where 96% of the contents on Facebook are posted by people, not company, let me tell you that if you can make your customers feel gratitude for your offer, you're going to have a huge sales force. But gratitude is the hardest feeling to get from someone. You might love someone, you might respect someone, you might not be gratitude to him and her. You might be respected and loved by your sons. They might not be necessarily grateful to you. How many are the people in your life you are grateful to? 2, 3, 4, 5? Only those who were nearby you when you were suffering, when you're having an important moment of your life, right? Gratitude is just for very few people. So try to wonder, what should we offer to the demand in order to let them feel gratitude for us? It's going to be hard. Gratitude is not thank. Last question.
How can we change industry who is already bad?
Again, for some of those industries, we must wait. Biology will take care of them. They will disappear. But it will take time. And we live just 80, 90, 100 years, so we won't see them disappearing. But we have to work for our children, for our grandchildren. The planet is not doing well. We're missing a lot of energies. And we are destroying the planet. We're not building the planet. So it will take time. But as I was saying, we don't have to fight with them. Because when you fight with someone, you must be ready to lose something, to leave something on the field. We must win the battles without fighting. And back again to the example. We can't keep... Martin Luther King used to say, you might not be responsible for the situation where you're living in, but you will be if you won't do anything to change it. So you should keep wondering and asking yourself, what can we do to change it? It's not fighting. They're bad. They're bad. Bad is part of our life. We also are bad in something. Let's try to be good in everything. Let's start from ourselves. In your little word, a father of one child, okay, that's your word. A manager of 2 collaborators, that's your word. You can orient the collectivity, being an example. You are important for us. I'm here because you are important for my children. You are creating the world where my children will live in. We are all interconnected. We must be aware of this. It's a tough moment for the planet. We need oriented people. Study.